Hello and welcome back to FTTV. We are back again with another episode of our weekly podcast. I'm your host Ali, joined with my fellow co-host Jawad. Jawad, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. And before we get started, just another reminder to hit the subscribe button. Make sure to give the video a thumbs up before even watching it. That would be highly appreciated. Ali, a lot of things going on in the world of football. Let's get into it.
So moving on to the two nations that were kind of forgotten when everybody was predicting who is going to take Euros, Holland and Belgium. People were saying Belgium are not the same because their star man Eden Hazard was not firing for the last couple of seasons. Obviously their groups are not the toughest in the world, but still very impressive in gameplay. What has impressed you so far by these two teams?
Wijnaldum. We were talking about him and his move to PSG, and you kind of labeled him as an overrated player, but he's really shown what he could be adding to PSG. Now, Wijnaldum had a tremendous game against Ukraine. And what a game that was, back and forth. It was, I think it opened up with, Wijnaldum scoring in the 52nd minute, and then Werkhorst scoring in the 58th minute, and that's 2-0. And then 2 goals from Ukraine. And late on the 85th minute, Dumfries comes clutch and gives Netherlands the win, 3-2 in this one. And the second game was a bit more routine with the 2-0 win, with Depay and Dumfries scoring. And what a season Depay is having. A tremendous season coming off in the French league. Exactly. And now he's really showing what he can do in the Euros as well. And is one player to watch out. Definitely didn't really have a good start to his career, but had a resurgence in France. And now he's really showing the world what talent he does possess. Now, the Dutch is very exciting. And the reason they're very exciting is because no one can predict the way the game is going to go. You're 2-0 up, you're cruising, and all of a sudden you give 2 goals away in the space of about 7 minutes. And again, your back is against the wall. But then you come up clutch. But not every single time you're going to come up clutch and win the game. It's going to be difficult when you're playing that open. So it needs to be somewhat balanced. But again, I guess that's what the beauty of Dutch football is. And that's the way they just play. Do you see them, even though they have been surprising and what a run they have, and they're through to the round of 16, do you see them making it into the quarters, maybe into the semis?
Depends on the opposition they face. If they face opposition which has a very good attack, a very quick attack, then I think Daley Blind might struggle on the left-hand side because he's very slow, and slowly, age is catching up to him, and he's going towards the 30-year mark, and that is the weak spot in the Holland team, according to me. When I talk about the midfield, they're not as dominant. They are looking to attack the ball every chance they get. They're not a possession-based team, and with a team that will dominate possession, like France or Portugal or even Germany, that is where Netherlands can go out, and even if they come up against an opposition like Italy, they will go out. So the surprise package is a very good surprise package for the group stages, but if they go to the next round, I see them going out immediately. But let's talk about Belgium, the other team that has impressed everyone. They're looking very similar to the team that was playing in the last World Cup. Similar style of play, similar approach to the gameplay, and Kevin De Bruyne and Lukaku firing again. Eden Hazard has been involved from the bench and is not the starting man, is not the pivot point in attack for Belgium, but still they are looking very deadly in the final third. But apart from Kevin De Bruyne and Lukaku, who are the obvious picks, who has impressed you the most in the Belgium squad?
Brother Hazard, Trojan. He's been playing very good. And when you've got the second Hazard playing at this level, imagine when you have a fully fit actual Hazard, Eden Hazard at that, coming off the bench right now, but even starting at that point, how scary that would be. So you're absolutely right. I wasn't expecting, because it's been the norm now, even though they are the number 1 ranked team as per FIFA, they don't really show their potential when it comes to these big tournaments, and they're not able to actually make a mark, as people would say. But this time around, it seems it's a little bit different. Now, obviously, it's a shorter time span, it's a shorter tournament, and they're through already, and they might be facing an easier opposition. But in the semis, in the quarterfinals, that's where the true test would come along against possibly Italy, right? So it's going to be very interesting to see how they line up against them, because Italy is the understanding they have is truly breathtaking. The football they're playing is amazing. People say that on the international level, teams do not have an identity, but Mancini has proven them wrong. They're playing a flowing attacking football, not something that Italy is known for, which would be a tough test for this Belgium side. They've got a great passer of the ball in the likes of De Bruyne. And what an assist that he had in the second match. Typically, most people would have shot where he had the vision to notice that there were two players right beside him. He ended up taking an extra touch, passing the ball along, and getting the assist. So that is the key difference maker, I feel like, and probably De Bruyne, if Belgium ends up making a deep run into this, is going to be the player of the tournament, I feel like. So he's been having a tremendous tournament so far, coming off not really playing in the initial game, but then coming off and really showing what he can do in the second game against Denmark. But when De Bruyne was on, he was a treat to watch. So it really shows that when you have the likes of Kevin De Bruyne coming off the bench, you have the likes of Eden Hazard coming off the bench. Imagine the type of talent you have, and imagine the type of players you possess. You've got Dries Mertens. He had a great season, yet another great season with Napoli. And you got Lukaku, who came off probably the season of his life with Inter. And you got Trojan Hazard, absolutely brilliant on the day. So they do possess a very good squad. It was just that they were overlooked at times. They might end up going to the semis in this one. As far as the Dutch are concerned, the Dutch might end up facing an easier opposition in the round of 16, so they would make it through to the quarterfinals as well. But that's when the teams really start to dwindle down. I'm predicting a Portugal-France final, but the way things are going and the way actually France are right now, it's really difficult to see what's going on. They've drawn level with Hungary as the time of recording, so it's going to be interesting to see what they end up finishing at. So it's going to be a tough and unpredictable, I must say, Euros if we really talk about it. How deep do you see Belgium going in this one?
I think they will go out against Italy. If they pass the Italy test with a very good approach to the game, and they show what they possess, the qualities that they have, and a good characteristic throughout the team, then I see a semi-final. But I don't see them competing against the best teams, which are France and Portugal. That is where they go out, in my opinion. But let's see what happens. Two managers who are discounted in the likes of Martinez and Frank de Boer doing all the right things. So Gareth Southgate can learn a lesson or two from these two gentlemen. But a very excited Euros. So let's see what happens.